Welcome. Now we're going to be starting our series of lectures on unemployment. Unemployment is one of the major indicators for an economy. So whenever you're looking at how an economy is doing, like the United States or any other country in the world, the unemployment rate is included usually among the GDP or GDP growth rate, the inflation rate, as one of the top three statistics people look at. And so first of all, we're going to look at what is unemployment. Now, a lot of times people hear about unemployment as something you collect when you lose your job, but this is usually the unemployment rate. And as a rate, it is a percentage. So, and it's a percentage is a ratio of two groups of people. First of all, you think of it as people who are not working, but you have to think about it as a percentage of people who should be working. Right? So first of all, 100% of people in the United States are not going to be working. And you're not going to have 0% of people unemployed. So we have to first talk about what people are included as out of work officially. And then we're going to talk about, though out of those people who are out of work officially, how many people are supposed to be working. And so if someone's 2 years old or 90 years old, they're not really considered unemployed if they don't have a job. Right? So this is a percentage. It is the number of people officially unemployed over the total labor force. All right? And so this is the number of people who are considered available to work, whether they're working or not. And this total labor force actually includes unemployed and employed people. And so if you're out of a job and you count as unemployed, you actually count in both parts of this fraction. And then this is converted into a percentage. Right. So first of all, let's start with who's in the total labor force. All right. Now to be counted as employed, you have to be usually between 16 and 65 years old. So this is the range. No, bigger, right? Right there. 16 to 65 years old. All right, so then, of course, you know, in the United States we don't have child labor. So if you're 5, nobody's telling you you should be getting a job. Also, if you're supposed to be officially retired, all right, now I know a lot of people who are older than 65 do have jobs, but you're only officially in this labor force if you're in the range of people where we expect people to be working. Now, the big thing that drives this number, this is criticized by a lot of people, is in order to be officially working, it's not 40 hours a week, it's not even 20 hours a week. It is 1 hour a week of work in a non-farm job. So to be employed, you are working 1 hour a week. Now, it's a very, very low threshold. That's going to drive one of the criticisms of this number because 1 hour a week is so close to zero, it might feel like you're unemployed. But according to this statistic, you are not. All right? Now, you're either going to be working in this group or you have to be actively seeking work. If you are not working, you must be looking for work. And that's important. And actually, the government has some strict guidelines as to what counts. So within a certain period of time, you must be seeking for jobs, not taking time off of your job search. Because otherwise, you sort of drop out of this labor force. There are a number of people who do not work, who are in that age range, who physically are able to work, who, for whatever reason, choose not to. Part of that is economic considerations. Part of that is choice. Part of it is that in a family, one person might not have to work. They can devote their time to child care and other activities. Some people have independent sources of wealth, live a life of leisure, be a socialite, do whatever they do with their time. They're not looking for work. Also, some people have given up looking for work. We'll talk about that a little bit later. If you give up on your job search simply because you can't find a job, you are not part of this labor force. So if you drop out, the unemployment rate changes even though you don't find a job. So you either are working an hour a week or you're not working at all and actively seeking work. Now, who doesn't count to count anybody who is outside of this age range. All right? It's also not going to count certain groups of full-time students or military. All right? It's also not going to count people who are perhaps in prison or who are unable to work because of physical difficulties and things like that. So you might not be part of the labor force even if you are not working, you'd like to work, and you're in the right age range. And so a lot of times they call it the civilian labor force. People who have jobs in the armed services, they're not part of this labor force. And so that is what it takes to be employed. Right? It's kind of a low bar. And it does not really take into account the number of hours that you work. All right, so now if you are unemployed, all it takes to be unemployed, you have to be working less than 1 hour a week. But you have to still be looking for a job. All right, so these people, these unemployed people, show up in the labor force. They also show up in the numerator of this fraction. So now we've got who is not working, what criteria need to be met to be not working. And then we also have criteria that need to be met to be people who should be working. So this is going to be a fraction. This is going to be converted into a percentage. And then we'll have a percentage that says, of all the people in the labor force, who is not working but looking.